Hey guys, welcome to the stream. How are you guys doing? Yes, today we are going to be doing diagnosis. Chance for me to play with your tactics. Have some fun along the way. Hopefully, discover some gems. Yes, some gems. You guys have made some really good tactics, man. And it's always fun to play with them. And we've got a headbanger here today. Yeah. A very interesting tactic. So I'm looking forward to playing with it. Chico, how are you? Well done. How are you guys doing, man? That World Cup. I think Zealand was at the Club World Cup where the Sundowns were playing one of the matches against I don't know who. I think there were more fans at Gloucester City and MK Dons match, man. I mean, yeah, it's true. Okay, look, we can't expect Americans to show up to a match that involves players of teams that they hardly know. But then again, you guys should, if you don't know how corrupt FIFA is, you should go ahead and do some little Googling on YouTube. You'll probably find a couple of videos, some even done by notable organizations like The Insider. They did a very good interview with the someone who was in the Australian bidding team for the World Cup that was held in Asia. They eventually went to Korea and Japan. Because your Aussies were quite surprised. They were going like, hello? That you mean the bid? There is no like upper limit to the bid? That we're just putting in the bid book. Not even the freaking thing to be organized. It's just to submit the bid. It's a book. 50 million. All they do is they come and look at our stadiums with all the executives. Yeah, stadium is good. I think you can be considered for a bid. That's 50 million? What the happens with that money? Of course, some other countries were like 4 million, 10 million, and Australia didn't even get the bid. I remember you guys gotta go and find out as much as you can about FIFA. Really, Jack Warner. No. At first, when you think about Jack Warner now will go down in history as one of the most resourceful men at FIFA. Okay. He's CONCACAF, Americas. He's a big heavyweight, even though he's from Trinidad and Tobago. Apparently, he carries a lot of weight. So every time you want your bid to see the light of day, you gotta get past Jack Warner. Because he controls so many votes. Or rather, he has influence over so many votes. Yeah, so you go do some research. You'll find out how dirty that organization is. And to think they reached Champions League was making all that money too, right? So I guess along the way, by the way, these guys are going, we're only making money once every 4 years. These Champions League guys are making money every year. We gotta get involved in this, man. The Club World Cup, we gotta do this every year too, man. It's not, look, he's got a super yacht. I want a super yacht too. You can't have these low lives, Ron. We are FIFA. We control all the organizations. How is UEFA making more money than us? So it'll be fun. You guys gotta go check it out. Go check out those videos. Spurs fan, how are you, man? Good morning, Bestie. Afternoon, yes, it's evening already. It's like 5:30 in the evening over here. God Spurs, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream. So we're gonna be looking at some of your tactics. The link is in the chat right now. So in case you guys missed it, yeah, you can use that to pop in your tactics when you have the time. We'll go through some of the tactics eventually. First, we got to get through the tactics with you guys have sent it. Have a good stream. Thanks, man. Santas. Hope you are doing well watching us on YouTube. Okay, so the very first tactic comes from Matisak. Now, if you're familiar with the creator Matisak on our Discord, he makes a lot of very good tactics. So every time he makes a good tactic, he makes a tactic. He's like throwing things up now that I just like, I got this idea, boom, and he comes in and he goes out and he comes out. I'm like, wow, the fixtures are out. Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, the Premier League fixtures are out too. Yeah, that's true. Today is the day, right? Premier League fixtures for 2026. Is FIFA? Of course, we don't know if Football Manager 26 is going to be released. Of course, they have to wait for this. So, opening day, we've got Liverpool and Bournemouth. Gonna be fun. Aston Villa play Newcastle United. Brighton play Fulham. Terrible game that for Fulham. Forest play Brentford. What a start to the season. Holy cow. Are you a Forest fan? Yes, I am. Oh my God, you're hosting Brentford. Inter is also not taking, but no one is taking the competition. No one is taking the Club World Cup seriously. They all know, they all know it's a money spinning machine, eh? I think the next Club World Cup, if there's going to be a Club World Cup, if Liverpool, thank God Liverpool is in there, but Liverpool will be like, yeah, we don't have to go. They got to send in their under 18 youth academy teams, man. Of course, then FIFA is going to impose sanctions on them. But hey, man. Sunderland play West Ham United. Very nice game. Sunderland, of course, they spent some time, somewhere else and got a good chance to show everybody what they've got now. Spurs play Burnley. What a nice fixture for opening day, guys. All you Tottenham Hotspur fans must be happy. Very first game, okay, we are playing Burnley. It shouldn't be so difficult. Then Wolves are hosting Man City. What a cracker this is going to be. Without Cunha is not playing for Manchester United, right? So apparently Manchester United are calling Cunha the second coming of Cantona. So Wolverhampton. Yeah, listen, when I was a kid, this was quite fun to pronounce. Wolverhampton Wanderers. You think they understand the impact of alliteration? Okay, versus Man City, good game. Chelsea plays Palace. Okay, what a test is going to be. Crystal Palace, in my opinion, are a team that is playing well below their potential, right? They are a good side. They should be pushing for higher up the league table, right? So for many seasons, I've looked at Crystal Palace and gone, yeah, this team can do better. So I'm hoping that this is Crystal Palace's season to finish higher than they did last season. United play Arsenal. Oh my God. The very first game of the season, United are going to be tested. Hey, Ruben Amorim, are you ready? Are you ready? Because Arsenal are not going to be happy that they have to travel to Old Trafford. Of course, they don't have toilets that work over there. Right, so yes, Arsenal going to travel to United. They got no toilets that work there. The roof is leaking. All right. First game. Manchester United and Arsenal. Leeds United and Everton. What a fight that's going to be. Oh, man. They're still playing at Ellen Road, right? So Everton will be in their new stadium by now, right? Because they played their last match in the Goodison Park. So then they've got Everton will be excited for all the home matches this season. Bournemouth versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. Arsenal play Leeds. Nice opening fixture for Arsenal. Second fixture, actually. Brentford play Aston Villa. Cracker of a jacker. This is going to be a fantastic game. This is going to be all action. Burnley and Sunderland. Okay, we go from all action to bottom. Okay, these two. It's like, okay, you know what game you're going to watch on that day. Crystal Palace versus Nottingham Forest. I think this is going to be good. Everton versus Everton are going to be a team that you're going to have to pay attention to next season. David Moyes is known to put his team together. He's famous for working with a squad of non-superstars. Okay, because when he went to United, it was full of stars, right? So obviously, his small little star didn't shine his bright as the other star, so he was outshone. But I think Everton are going to surprise a lot of people this season. Amorim might be sacked. No, I don't think Amorim is going to be sacked, Marcus. I think Amorim is going to be there for quite a while. Yeah, because United are looking at rebuilding around Amorim. You think they rebuild around a player, right? Or they're rebuilding around Amorim. Because Barreda, I think the CEO of the CEO of Manchester United was very, very clear about where they are going with Manchester United, which is the reason why they actually went for Amorim. So I don't think that's going to happen. I think they'd rather clear, if they've got this philosophy now that they want to clear out their players. But we'll see more on that during the break. Fulham play United. Now this is going to be a test for United. If they can't beat Fulham, then we can safely say Ruben Amorim could be in trouble. Man City play Spurs. What a match! Okay, this is going to be great. Newcastle, oh wow. The opening 2 weeks, the first few fixtures are definitely appetizing. West Ham and Chelsea, okay. I mean, yeah, I was about to say who cares, but you know. Aston Villa and Crystal Palace, Brighton and Man City, okay. Not too bad. Liverpool, oh my God. Liverpool play Arsenal. We play Newcastle, then we play Arsenal. Okay, this is going to be, it is bad news for Liverpool. Very bad news for Liverpool. Because Liverpool are going to be a very different team next season. There'll be about 5 players in the Liverpool team you do not recognize. Guaranteed. Right? So, and even here, there might be players who haven't left Liverpool yet. Because it's 30th of August. You know how sometimes transfer windows, players are still at the club? Yeah, because the window hasn't closed yet, right? So 30th of August, there could still be players like, should I stay or should I go? Yeah, Thomas Frank will have to prove everyone right, you know, that he can do the job. Manchester's, oh my God. Hey, hello, United, I feel sorry for you, though. Your first couple of fixtures are not funny, boy. United play Manchester City. United play Chelsea. I'm just looking at United. United travel to Brentford. Huh? United play Sunderland. Okay, that will be fun. City play Everton. All these Liverpool play United. Oh my God. Holy cow. Oh my goodness. The first few weeks are epic, boy. Until November, the Premier League is going to be epic. Nothing short of epic. Oh my goodness. Okay, look, let's get on to Matisak's tactics. So looking at DLF for support, inverted. See, he's got a really interesting tactic. There's a lot of, if you play with this kind of a tactic, okay, you better have players who are good on the ball. Because there's a lot of movement that's required in this tactic. There's you know, as it gets into the final third, you're looking at this DLF dropping deep. These guys getting, then they got Mazalas and two in the half space that be cramped. Fullbacks as well, not doing anything except there's going to be a wing back that's giving us some extra width here. Yeah, this is a tactic that okay, on the face of it, I wouldn't change this tactic if you have the players for it. Okay, all right. But if you were to take this tactic and give it to a team that is average, right? Average, right? They're gonna be found out. Yeah, they're gonna be found out. So a tactic like this, which is akin to like Liquid, the system I made. Liquid is a different tactic. Liquid was actually, you know, I don't ask me how come Liquid was so strong, but Liquid also needed like a really good Mazala. So this tactic demands that you have players in the middle of the park that are good at holding onto the ball. Somebody is feeling the weather. Okay, there got two. So we got two. Okay, this is not really good for us. We are playing against a wing back and central. A 3-man defense, which actually means that our Mazala, our inside forward, they're all walking into a trap. This whole group here are playing right into this group. So it's gonna, you watch it more. So keeping the ball is really important now. So if your team cannot keep the ball, they're gonna face a lot of pressure from this defense. So look at how close everybody is, right? So you got a 3 defenders now dropping into a 5. So when you get, and he doesn't have focus play, so it's not really going to help you. See how close these guys are? So he is stuck in the middle. This is the reason why when I spot a 5-man defense, there are 2 ways I do it. One is I have a wing back or a fullback on attack that's really high up the pitch, though it gives this guy support. But that's the thing about 4-3-3s, because you got to really push up, right? And that makes these flanks vulnerable. So keeping the ball becomes really important. So we've got, so you can see the Carrello is coming up to support, which explains why I said this is an important tactic to watch out for, because Matty created a really good system. Now, if you were to use a box-to-box midfielder or a CM, the player would be closer to here. So this pass doesn't become viable. Now, because he's using a Carrello, and a wing back, it becomes a viable thing for him to do. So he can play the pass here, or he can, but being a Carrello, I doubt if he's going to play the pass this way. If you look at his feet, they're pointing this way already. So chances of him going this way very slim. He could either go back this way, right? But because he's got pass into space, he could go in front. See, this guy is already facing and attacking this way. So sometimes if you look at 3D or 2D, you're looking out for things like this small little feet here. I know a lot of people are gonna go, what is he looking at? Yeah, the small little feet. And you can see the small little feet here, 2 feet. Yeah, things you pay attention to if you want to do tactics using this. So you can see he's running now. The Carrello is right into this space, and he's gone wide. The wingback has a lot of space. And now we've got a crossing opportunity. And he's playing on attacking mentality as well. So it's not too bad. Like inside forwards now. Think about Football Manager, right? I know people are going to say it's a game, but the thing for me, I've always played with inside forwards that got height. Because you end up, when you have a tactic like this, which has got DLF and you got wingbacks and players are going to go to the flanks, you're probably going to get a lot of switches of play. So you want players on the flanks to have the height to take those crosses. So again, we're on the flanks. Again, there's another cross. So that's 2, and we're on comprehensive highlight. So you can actually create a really good tactical system with this kind of a setup. But your important consideration is going to be, you have to have players that are very good on the ball, right? And if you're playing, like he's faced against this back 5. So he's got a wing back actually, which is the correct role. Because if he had 2 fullbacks, he might struggle with pushing this team. So he's got one wing back who comes up to support, because this Carrello, this inside forward, are going to be operating in this zone where they're going to be, it's the 2 of them versus the 3 of these players. But because this is a volante, he's going to be doing two jobs. He's going to have to bring the ball forward as well as defense. So this is actually the best place for us to attack. So he's got a Carrello who makes things simple. He's got this inside forward here, and the wing back who naturally is going to be the focal point of a lot of attacks. So this is the reason why I say, if you use this kind of a system, make sure that your 3 midfielders all have got composure, passing, agility, balance. You're able to keep the ball. You're going to make this tactic even stronger if these 2 players have got jumping reach and height. So we've taken the lead against Sheffield United. And Buendia, aggression is really good for your inside forwards. This coming back, I'm not sure if Buendia has aggression. Does he? Yeah, every time I see a player doing that, I'm pretty certain he's got aggression and work rate. So if you are looking to make sure that your inside forwards are going to help you defend, actually get into the area to help win the ball back, if you're going to play counter pressing, if you don't have an aggressive team, you don't have an aggressive midfield or attacking midfield, I wouldn't bother. Yeah. Because I've seen people complain about, oh, why isn't the pressing working? Why isn't this? I'm using Gegen pressing and it doesn't work. And it's usually because you've chosen the wrong players for your team. Douglas Luiz out of cash. You see, this is what I mean by he's set it up beautifully. Yeah, I like this. I love this. This is when a 4-3-3 actually works very well. So, again, you can see what I mean, right? If he was on his own, if this is a fullback, we might have some issues. But if you notice, there's no focus play. So the inside forward comes in, and then the wingback is free again. And the wingback just has to do this. The Carrello, they switch play, and again, what a goal. If it's offside, it's a real pity, but that's a heck of a move. And it's very unfortunate that the striker was offside, but the whole chain, the whole attacking chain was very, very nice. So the DLF works really well here. DLF is a good role now, because this is when you have a role that actually drops a bit deeper. The inside forwards become the main threat in this tactic, because they can, as he drops and he looks for players to feed the ball to, then he's gonna be able to release those inside for. He won't be the one, but the inside ones can be released. Would I play this? Probably would. My heart would be on. I mean, I'll be heart in my mouth half the time because these kind of tactics, yeah, need players. You can't do well without the right players. I mean, that's fair thing to say about any tactic, but I mean, why do I play a 4-1-4-1? 4-1-4-1 just forces teams into errors, so I score more goals by giving them a headache. This tactic isn't going to force team into errors. It's going to concede goals because your team might make errors when they have the ball. In the other setup of 4-1-4-1, you're just forcing the opposition to errors, so you're creating goal scoring chances very near that third. Here, you could lose the ball at the worst possible time when your players are exposed like this. You know what I mean? So when you're playing this kind of a system, you got to be making sure that you're looking at the formation you're playing with. If you're playing against a 4-2-3-1, you'll be tested. You'll be tested because they have the third man in midfield to really give this tactic, give the opposition a problem. Even right now, they are able to break, but the role options here aren't very good. This ball-winning midfielder Volante, they could have done with ball-playing defender here or even here. And the complete forward is just slowing down their attacks in the final third. Yeah, so if they had like an advanced forward or a pressing forward, it would be much better. So this is like probably back a 5. I wouldn't use this tactic. No way. Inside forward comes up. The Carrello again. Inside forward, he's got support from the wing back. Finds the DM and DM shoots, which is wide. The biggest other issue with back fives with these 4-3-3 systems is your bench. You need a lot of midfielders. Okay, we're gonna leave the players on the pitch and see when they start collapsing. Okay, it's changed to a 4-4-2. Now we have the extra man in defense. They have the extra man on the. They have the don't have an extra man. They only have an extra man. We have an extra man in defense because we got 3 midfield right now, right? Well, we should be fine. The only reason why we'll screw things up is if we don't build play up. So you're paying attention right now to your transitions, right? So now your transition event is, can I get a ball from defense, midfield, and create a goal scoring opportunity? The DLF didn't really work there. Tempo could be your friend. You could drop tempo by just increases the chance that you might lose the ball. So you got to keep tempo up. Because the reason why it's like a catch-22 though. If you have the players for it, you keep the ball, right? Then but now we lost the ball, so definitely our players aren't good enough. So we lower tempo, but then we lower tempo, we get others into play, right? It pushes us high up the pitch. We're taking bigger risks, but we might be able to create better chances. Problem is, we're doing that with a lot of risk. Yeah. So we got Kansa and Buendia's in another shot. Since the Premier League viewership is dropped, they have to throw something into the mix to spice things up. the ties are. Yeah, maybe. I think Premiership viewership has dropped because it's become very expensive. And I think a lot of fans are getting jaded already because it seems like football has become. I tell you what, viewership is going to go up in the next couple of years. Football Manager viewership is going to go up because a lot of football fans are going to find their Football Manager counterparts and they're going to support them online because it makes no sense to go and support the clubs anymore because the Premier League is all about money now. I've been invited to a competition, man. I don't know if I can do it. I've been thinking about it. I'm not too sure if I can take part. I mean, I would love to, but at the moment, my time is with the kids and school. All right, so we got Morgan Roche, Yuri Tielemans. So bring Yuri Tielemans in for this carrier, so we get one fresh leg in midfield. I want to change, but you know what? Let's not lose games, huh? We got corner now. Defended. No, reset. Yeah, family comes first. Competitions take a lot of time. Yeah, a lot of time. And then you got to prepare for them. And then it's a regional competition, actually, Asian based. I haven't responded to the request yet. I mean, I could ask one of you to go and take part. You guys are quite good already. Totally a content creator. The poker fan, how are you, man? Any news on FM26? No, man. It seems like the only news coming out from SI is no news. Yeah, no news. We don't know. Quite disappointing that SI have been so quiet for so long. But I don't. That probably is it. I think they are in the thick of things, fighting for negotiating licenses as well, plus all kinds of other stuff. Because with FM24, it was the last game, right? So FM24 licenses, if some of the companies don't want, you can't get you can't see Man City right now, right? Some of the rights have reverted back to their clubs, especially for those games that are like on a year-to-year cycle. Because let's just face it, Epic Games, playing Football Manager on Epic is like an annual subscription to the game. Okay, that's how it feels like to me. All right, so if you buy a game from Epic, it's like or you buy a game from Netflix or whatever, it's like an annual subscription, right? So your licenses are all affected. I don't know, man. It's gonna be strange. So I think SI is screwed in that regard. There was talk about SI and Sega having a fallout. I don't think that's true. I think it's largely due to the fact that so many things have been affected, changed. Like for example, the transfer window. Transfer window has changed, right? So it changes SI's plans, bro. Because the Club World Cup affected the transfer window. Then what else we got? We got we don't know if the 115 charges on Man City are gonna stick. What else have we got? There's so many things uncertain. And then of course more and more clubs are now becoming very particular about their own licenses. Yeah, so I don't know. I think this is a changing landscape, that very fluid landscape that SI have to maneuver. And they've not made too many I think quite a number of people like me quite disappointed. So I think SI have got their hands full. Because by now I probably know. Usually by now I have news. No? This is quite bizarre because the amount of radio silence is unheard of for us. Because there are some of us that usually know something roughly. No one knows anything, man. Isn't it too late to announce anything for this? Since the demo should be out next month? That's the thing. There's no demo. There's no guarantee that there's going to be a demo. Yeah. Because a lot of the time, we got to think about... No, they wouldn't update the squads, man. Pinto Rico, they can't. Because updating the squads is something that is driven by licenses, right? So the licenses revert back to the clubs after the end of a cycle. So SI don't have the right to use real names like Man City or play some of the players' names for that matter, like Man City's entire squad. You gotta call Erling Haaland or some shit like that. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be tough. So it affects everybody. So can you imagine those guys like me who are playing the game on who are Steam based, right? So I'm Steam based, so it doesn't affect me. But the guy who plays the game on Epic is different, right? So yeah, it's all license based, and the licenses are very, very peculiar because remember the issues they had with United a few years ago? Yeah, they can be quite problematic, no? Because I remember at one point, SI was asking me very politely, can you not use logos anymore on your streams? The problems they get. Am I a content creator? Big content creator? No, I'm a small content creator. But because of the weight of because of my opinions, right? I might be one of the smaller channels, but my weight is quite heavy in terms of when I talk about the game or the tactics or whatever. So yeah, so they're quite important. No? What do you think about Grimaldo? Is he used dribble more or not on his duty? I don't know, man. You look at the game. Yeah. It'd be nice to do some legal trick. Yeah. I'm sure those SI's lawyers are not as powerful as the lawyers of Manchester United. Okay. Yeah. I don't think SI's lawyers got enough in them. Yeah. I'm trying to think of solutions or meeting project and realize, but SI think it's fine to delay the release. Hey, you tell me about it. I think like one thing, right? If you're done project management before or any form of project management, right? Any release is costly. Yeah. So I think that the delay is costly, but the risk to reputation is greater. The cost of the risk of reputation was greater than the game is, the cost of the game, the losses that we're going to incur with the delay. So you can see what I mean. I mean, like, they were probably so worried that because in today's world of social media, because the last time they had a very bad release was many years ago before social media was such a thing. And I was there. I think some of the older players at Godspurs were there too. We were all around for some of the worst releases of Football Manager, where I'm telling you, right, the game was in some cases not even playable in March. In March. Can you believe that? March. I mean, can you imagine if SI were to release a game now in November and it remains unplayable for the majority of the people till March? And then when it does release a patch, it's a half-baked patch. It doesn't really solve a lot of things. It just makes the game playable, but there are other parts of the game that don't work. So I think SI, because they are releasing a new version of the game, they couldn't take a chance that it would screw up. So they must have had a very valid reason for the delay. Because I think that the game, as it was last year, when they gave a sneak preview to a lot of content creators, they did. They gave some. There was like a private kind of a rollout where they did a kind of a test once, invited some people and gave them a chance to play the game. I think the feedback they got from that was so bad that SI decided, oh God, that's it, man. They put 10 guys in a room and 11 guys, including somebody who's not even there, condemned the game. What are you going to do? I rather, because I've been around for the days when SI rushed the game out that needed multiple patches. And you know what my rationale was back then? Oh, because there's so many counterfeit games on the market, they cannot release a game that doesn't require a patch. Okay, because I still remember there's this studios, I can't remember the name now, but they're the makers of the game The Thief. Thief was a brilliant game. Looking Glass Studios. Okay, Thief, brilliant game. It was so good. It was so ahead of its time. Okay, it was so ahead of its time. It was like brilliant. Okay, there wasn't a single bug in the game. But guess what? The studio went bankrupt. Because after the game was released and people loved the game so much that it got pirated within 24 hours. They couldn't sell the game because the pirated games were out there. So SI need to make very, very sure that they, those days there was a people would release games that require patches, but they can't use the argument anymore, right? With your ability to protect the games. And when the Grimaldo has the ball, is he run by a ball? No, you have to look because if in my game, the real Grimaldo, I don't know, man. I don't watch Grimaldo play. I wouldn't know what Grimaldo is doing. Because Grimaldo here gets forward without possible, curls ball and plays 1-2s. So all he does is he curls the ball, he comes inside. To curl the ball, you have to come inside. Okay. There's a bit of a come inside movement when you do this. And then plays 1-2s. I can't tell what he does in real life because tactically, that's up to the manager. If he wants to come inside or stay away. So different managers might ask Grimaldo to do different things. A lot of pirated games. Yeah, you go. Yeah, trust me, we live in Asia. The amount of piracy we see. Asia is the piracy capital of the world. Okay, so the first tactic, brilliant. Don't have to do anything. Okay, now we're watching Fox's White Diamond. Nice. I was playing something like this on the stream the other day, right? I wanted to make a white diamond. So this could be a tactic that I might end up using with what's that team? The Frena Caravos team, right? So we got winger, WP. IFB, nice. Cuts inside with the ball. So we need to put a right-footed player. Langlet, can he play that? Plays no true balls. Okay, I mean, you can come in there and play. Or Chambers, I'll ask Chambers to play there. Okay, so we got Chambers. We got Cash. Cash is got guess what whenever possible. And I think he's got a problem playing. I think this one is going to be fullback. Okay, I don't know what the PI is. I'm not going to go in. We can do it from here. Guy inside with the ball is sitting there. Or is it got a clash with his... Yeah, it's okay. So you're going to cut inside the ball sitting there. This guy's also... Yeah, he's done a 3. Wingers going up. Yeah, this tactic is going to work. Step up ball. Yeah, he's going to squeeze the line when they lose the ball because it makes sense. It's only got one player here. And then invites crosses, prevent shot goals, which pretty much I wouldn't change this tactic. Again, I think this tactic works. Underlap, widest player holds out the ball looking for inside runs. There'll be some inside runs, but not a lot, unless maybe finally get to this. And these guys become the widest player, move into channels. AM on attack is roaming, okay. And a poacher to pin wingers. Keep the ball, score lots of goals. I skipped your comment. Other evidence I put your thing, what's your takes up? Oh. Could you explain? I didn't see the first question. Would you please explain how low defensive line affects your game? Others already puts your team gullible for more pressure. What's your take, sir? Does that actually a lot of people don't even know what defensive line does. Defensive line is not a cue for the other team to kind of put you under pressure. Okay? Whoever said that is like, nah. Sorry lah, okay. That's not lah. There's no such thing as a cue, come and put us under pressure. You don't see what's put us under pressure is when you play low tempo. What a defensive line does is the furthest your back line is going to stand from the goal when they have the ball, right? So it's also in respect also because how far are you going to be away from goal when you lose the ball, right? So if you have a high defensive line, you're willing to stand further away from goal, which means that conversely, when you lose the ball, you got more to cover because you're high up the pitch. What does defensive line do in the game? Defensive line is... Because the reason why a lot of people are confused is because nobody played the game in the old days when we knew what defensive line actually was. Because those days there was more. There was a manual. It was this thick. There was a manual that used to come in the game. All right. So what does a defensive line do? A defensive line... And we wrote tips and tricks. You will see the tips and tricks also is there because it's written in conjunction with SI. Nobody writes a defensive tips and tricks without talking to SI. And the guy who wrote the tips and tricks, moi, yours truly. Go check the tips and tricks for all the fellas who wrote the tips and tricks. You find my name there. Defensive line is about how high up the pitch you will support midfield as well. So the lower your defensive line, the less support you give to midfield. So yes, in a manner of speaking, you are inviting pressure, but only as far as you're not helping your own team out. So if you play with a really low defensive line, you're telling your fullbacks don't go too high up the pitch. This can isolate your team. So if you're playing with like wingers on attack and you have a very low defensive line, basically you're telling the wingers, you're on your own, boys. Because these fullbacks, they're not going to overlap you. So if you put an overlap instruction with a low defensive line, you run into trouble. Now, if you play with a much higher defensive line, chances are they'll be proactive in going forward. They'll be very high up the pitch. They'll be close enough to give support, but they'll be so close that even a chip finds the space behind them. So that's what defensive lines do. You can end up putting a lot of pressure on your own team if your defensive line is too high and you can't keep the ball. So the best thing to do in most cases is to play... I did a whole stream on playing low defensive line tactics. But the reason is I wanted to create like a 4-2-4, right? Which is hoof the ball tactic. And I've used a low defensive line to do it. So low defensive line is not about inviting pressure. Inviting pressure is when you're playing with like a much lower defensive line. Okay, and maybe you're playing low line of engagement. That is when you invite pressure. Your line of engagement is the thing that invites pressure, because inviting pressure comes from your line of engagement. The line of engagement is where do you decide to start your press, and is led by your strikers. So if you play with a high line of engagement, you're basically telling your team, when we don't have the ball, remember this, line of engagement when you don't have the ball. When we don't have the ball, I want you to start the press in the attacking third. That's much higher line of engagement. That's when you're doing it in the opposition third. So when you play with a low line of engagement, you're telling the strikers, hey, you know what? Don't start your press so high up the pitch. Start it, because in this case, right, your back line is already sitting here in your third, right? So everything is in relationship to your back line. So don't think that these guys are only going to do pressing in your third. No. Where are these guys going to be? China. They're going to be behind the line, man. No, so what you got to do is you have to remember everything's in relationship. So most likely, these guys are going to start pressing in midfield. So lower line of engagement. Your line of engagement is the thing that sets up pressure, not your defensive line. So that's why, can't help, but this is, I can understand why people get confused, right? And people need proof. But the problem is these people are, what to do. It's like my son. Daddy, prove it to me. Son, I just know this shit, man. My son goes, Daddy, it's not true. Then you have to go and figure out yourself. Sorry, old man's wisdom. Played the game so many years already. And was available, seen all the iterations, so I know how defensive line works in Football Manager. And the interesting thing is, every single role or position has a defensive line. That's a beautiful thing. Now try telling that to everybody else who doesn't know about defensive line. Tell them to explain it to you how it works, and none of them will be able to. So remember this: pressure is line of engagement. Defensive line is all about support. You don't want to support your attack, you play with a low defensive line. You want to support your midfield, you play with a standard defensive line. You want to support your attack, play with a high line defensive line. That's how defensive line works. Because what you're doing to your back line is you're keeping them very, very deep. Of course, you won't see it because everything is relative, right? So as your attack goes up, you're pulling your defenders higher up the pitch. So, but it's like that defensive end line acts like that rubber band, tying them to the goalkeeper, so they can't go too high. Yeah. So you have to remember that. That's like the rubber band. Yeah, defensive line. Yeah, that's the best way to describe it. Defensive line is like a rubber band. I love this tactic. I've seen it before. It's a very good tactic. This is one of the best diamond tactics, white diamond tactics in the game right now. Again, created by Matisak. Or is it? This one is Spurs fan. One of you. The three tactical geniuses on Discord right now. There are three of you. All three of you making phenomenal tactics. This one again, keep the ball positive. You know why I like positive as a mentality? Because in FM22 or FM23, I can't remember when, but as I tweaked the passing settings for all the mentalities, because I was there when we originally set up the passing structure for mentality the first time they did it, right? So then I think there was then they explained that they had changed how mentality works, and that was the only thing they said. So can you imagine, this is how cryptic their messages are. Seriously, you're supposed to read between the lines. We changed the way mentality works. Okay, so okay, all right. How did it change? Okay, then after that you go in and go oh yeah, now I get it. Positive became shorter passing. So the passing metrics all changed. Because last time, as you increase mentality, the gaps between the passing lengths also used to go up. They used to be directly related to each other. So on defensive mentality, we actually had it on. You remember? I don't know if any of you remember. Remember FM12? I don't know if you remember FM12, FM13 was the year also that tiki-taka football was at at its peak, right? That was when Spain was tiki-takaing its way. We had Barcelona, you know. So there was this lots of people going, we want to make Barcelona like kind of tactics, like high possession, keep the ball, that kind of tactic, right? Yeah, it had to be done with defensive mentality. Because defensive mentality actually had the passing, wasn't too short, but just nice. So it was always defensive mentality, balance, defensive or balance. Now, defensive mentality, they changed it. So defensive mentality went from like the balanced kind of passing to now slightly more direct. So you got counter, has got direct. Oh man, the way they changed the game. So you gotta be careful. You gotta try out. Nice, I love this tactic. Very, very nice. McGinn, again, there's this run again. The underlaps are working very nice. The widest play is holding up the ball. The only issue now that we have is that in this tactic at the moment, the guy doing the underlap, you know, I don't know if you guys noticed, he did a loop. No? This guy, he had the ball. So what he tried to do was he tried to go the other way. So let's look at him. What is he? That's why. Okay. Yeah, got this guy. He's playing the right side. So we want to try and get him to come inside. What we're going to try and do is, because he's a poacher, right? This guy's a price. He's going to go into the chat. I'm going to remove the focus play from here. Okay. And try and just focus on one side. Oh, no, I can't change tactics. Sorry. I can't make any changes to tactics. I'm not allowed to. This is a tactic that comes from Discord. Nice. I like the tactic so far. I like the movement. I think it's very, very good. Once again, we're seeing transitions where we have to defend. Oh, nice. Lovely. Pressing forward. Was on the shoulder, waiting, putting pressure on the back line, and then the poacher's in the area already. Matisak comes inside, shoots a goal. Yeah, you gotta get a lot of goal scoring opportunities with your fullbacks. Buendia. And also you're playing step up more. So it isn't bad. You're keeping a lot of pressure. You're putting a lot of pressure. You can see how high up the pitch these guys are. Look at the way this fullback is. Look at how high up the pitch this fullback is. He's like, okay, fine, you know, I'm here to help you guys out. Okay, good. I like this. There's quite a lot of movement. Again, they supported the midfield. The backline was really quick. They stepped up. Again, that was another step up more in action. Okay. Yeah, you see how, I don't know if you guys can tell when step up more is triggered, but you will see it. But the moment the guys are coming, the defensive line will step up. There's one player, the defender might come up and try and catch the player. Oh, again, that's good. So we're not doing too badly. Tiring Burnley out. Oh, corner now from McGinn to take this. Again. Of course, we don't bother with set pieces. Huh? So you guys, you know, set pieces are too easy in Football Manager. You can get like 20, 30 goals with your players now. AM... All right. Okay, I get the idea behind having the AM. I know why you did it, because you don't want the play to be directed towards the AP. Okay, but if you play focus, play left and right, like the way you did, okay, like this way, right? If you do focus, play left and right, I would recommend using focus. I would recommend using the changing the role to an AP. Okay. Now he's gonna drive through the middle. Wait, hold on. Why don't we change this to a shadow striker? See what happens. Now you got 3-man strike force. Okay. And then we'll do the focus play. Huh? I thought I took this off. Okay. Let's try this, okay? Inside AM, we go that way. We got positive. Try and dribble less. We'll ball into box. Everything is going through the middle. Yeah. The DLP is not going to play a bigger role. So we got 3 players now trying to push through the center. So we got 2 wingers. I rather have wingers than I don't play inverted. I don't like inverted wingers. Yeah, I rather play wingers off the foot of on the flank opposite the preferred foot. They play much better than inverted wingers. Inverted wingers are so overrated, especially in this tactic where he's got all these players coming through the center. He's got all these players coming through the center. So you really want to use wingers to give you the width. And then, because they're on their flank opposite their preferred foot, right? So can you imagine a winger is on the right flank, but his preferred foot is left, and he's got all these players coming in on his left. Oh man, you're passing the play, you're creating the pass with your favorite foot. So yeah, why not? Okay, we got the goal. We made a change and we got the goal straight away. We're gonna bring Kamara on. Yeah, we went for a shadow striker. I think shadow striker is much better. Yeah. We're gonna leave the rest alone because honestly, there's not much of a bench. I am Enganche. No. Not because you shouldn't change to Enganche just because you're playing against a 4-4-2. Enganche is only useful if you have like volantes coming up and some other roles. I probably wouldn't use an Enganche here. Probably do a triple attack through the middle. Very, very. We're gonna put a lot of pressure on this zone. Because if we use an Enganche, then there's nobody else coming up beside him. I'm just going for goals right now, right? So I went into Shadow Striker because you got so many roles now. Oh, Diaby lost out. Diaby went wide, which is the reason why we're using the Shadow Striker now. Because he goes wide to pick up the ball as well. There, Watkins. True again. See, if we use a Shadow Striker and his rating just went up from 6.3 to 6.8, I like using a Shadow Striker here. Because right now you got all these width and then you got all these guys coming through the middle. You got this focus on attacking through the middle. You don't want to halt the attack just with one Enganche here. Yeah. Nah, I would never use inverted winger. Sorry, it's not got nothing to do with that. I just think the inverted wingers are positioned very poorly for these central attacking patterns. I've tried it with, I tried 4-4-2s as well, 4-2-4s, and I rate my inverted winger, I rate it very low on the totem pole for high XG tactics. Another great move. Oh, almost true again. It's just my opinion. Of course, everybody has got their favorite roles, I guess. Yeah. I just don't like inverted wingers. Another good move. Yeah, if we had been using this earlier, would be nice. Can I replicate that winger with opposite foot with 3-4-1-2 with my wing back? I would never replicate two roles. Try to replicate two roles. Yeah. I wouldn't go like I want my wing back to play like a winger in a back three. It won't work. Yeah, because in a back three, the pressing is different, the positioning is different, so it won't work. Yeah. If you want to play a winger, you play a winger. In a wing back here, no, probably not. They'll be too deep. They won't be high enough for you to get that because these wingers are putting a lot of pressure on the back line. So I would definitely think about getting this role to. I mean, on the face of it, I still think it's a decent tactic. I don't think you need to make any changes. I just wanted to get the win. Another way you could get the win in this kind of a tactic is quite straightforward. You could have gone like inverted fullback here, gone libero here, and then you have a real powerful center to do shock attacks through the middle. So this is another very powerful setup. Because the libero is going to come in the middle of the DRP. Two inverted fullbacks are going to come in here. Then you got all the quarterbacks in the center. The center is now loaded with quarterbacks to play through balls. So that's another version that you can play. Which is actually something I normally do in my tactic. By white diamond. Okay, so now we got a beautiful 4-4-2. And let's get epic. Oh my goodness. Am I reading it right? Is it a final? EFL Cup final, man. Aston Villa playing Tottenham Hotspur in the EFL Cup final. We got to use a 4-4-2. All right. Okay, this is interesting. Target forward, advance forward, CM on support, CM on support. They will play to their attributes. So this guy is he's Bob Basic, so he's got anticipation, reading on the game, positioning, quite good going forward. Douglas Luiz, he shoots from distance, bravery, concentration. Which side is going to be? Wow, everything is the same. Fullback on attack, coming inside. This guy coming inside. Two central defenders. I mean, we're going to play this tactic out the way it is. I think it's okay. Yeah. He's special. Matty, I don't know lah, Matty. This tactic seems okay. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that setup, but I think 4-4-2s, one thing about 4-4-2s, you got to be willing to change things on the fly. Yeah. See the situation, make the change. Like for me, this tactic has got two wide midfielders. So you're not getting any width. You got like no width in this tactic. I mean, you have some width, of course. You got the rolls there, right? But they're not really attacking as high, as aggressively as wingers would. And you got two fullbacks. So this is like, okay, we're gonna keep the ball, wide midfielder. What does he do? Don't tell me this is a Leicester City tactic. Yeah, it is very much like a Leicester City tactic. Yeah, it is very much like Leicester City. I think I see what you're doing. So you want these guys to come here and act like creators, okay? Then your two players in the center, they need to put more pressure. The two strikers need to be high up. I wouldn't play a target forward. I'd play pressing forward. Because these guys are inviting a lot of early balls before the rest come into play, right? So we have to change these two to pressing forwards. I would change now. I'll change it to pressing forwards. It was me. Target forward. The reason being, you don't have width. You don't have anyone attacking. You don't have like these guys going. So these guys are coming inside, looking to play passes, right? So everything is just becoming a very simple, let's pop one onto the target forward and advance forward. But if I play pressing forwards, the whole tactic could move up, higher up the pitch and get more players involved. Because the fullbacks on attack will then become a threat. Right now, the fullbacks are just sitting here. So the fullbacks aren't doing much, right? So they just like, okay, we come up here, we play one pass. Everyone's trying to find these two guys. So I would definitely change it slightly. We're not supposed to let Spurs win the League Cup, no? It's before their time. Yeah, come on, Cash. Kamara, Zanilo, out to Moreno, comes inside, McGinn, out wide, looks for options, and then loses out. Again, Cash with the ball. Lagos Luis can't do much. He's taking more risks. He chased the player down. The moment I saw that, I know he's taking more risks. This guy is taking more risks. There we go. With his movement, right? He doesn't have to do this. This is like taking more risks. Yeah. People say taking more risks is just passing. No, it is more than that. Yeah, it is a lot more than that. It's got to do with decision making and movement as well. So this guy didn't have to do anything. He just went running Rudolph, right? Take more risks. So occasionally you do something like that. That's what I mean by you gotta know what take more risks do. It is not just passing. It affects passing, but also decision making, like the kind of movement he just made. Definitely that was not necessary. Oh man, we are in trouble. We gotta zip this up so I can get through this half quickly. We're gonna make changes. 4-4-2s. About ooh la la. Okay, Douglas Lewis, McGinn, Bailey. What are we gonna do? I will maintain the same thing. So we're gonna change these two guys to pressing forwards. Change them both to attack. Okay, all right. Douglas Lewis, I'm sorry, like we can't play. Even though you are a good player, I can't use you anymore. Okay, let's go. Okay, we changed both the roles to pressing forwards. Okay, so now, you see the fullbacks are now going to get more involved. Huh? You see how high up the pitch now the fullbacks are. We just got our first shot. I'm telling you, the moment you play target for advance forward, it becomes the case of let's find the player with the pass, right? Now I play two pressing forwards. These guys are going to go here and here because they move into channels, right? Two, this guy doesn't drop anymore. So you're putting pressure on the defense now. And the fullbacks on attack will play a bigger role now in this tactic. Pressing for attack. There we go. Everybody's getting high up the pitch. Okay, good. All right. So now we're going to have to take off one of these jokers. He's not. McGinn. I don't know who to take off, man. We're running out of players. Jacob Ramsey, come on. Okay. We want to win this game. Eric Konza. Right, let's go. Tielemans, we get one back, so it's 2-1. Okay, we got a corner back, got a goal. Now let's see. Okay, he's obviously on a yellow card, so we take this guy off. I don't know whether we can play Diego Carlos DM. Take fewer risks, right? Okay, you got to take fewer risks. Go up there. I don't expect you to go up the pitch because your attributes are quite defensive. So a CM on support, he might be a bit more defensive. Tielemans taking more risks. I don't know. Yeah, this is really. I wish I had a player who knew the position. Yeah, I'm pretty certain the two roles are important to change. Make substitution, last change. Emiliano Buendia. I don't think we can change anything because it's full time. Yeah. Quite disappointment, but yeah, I don't think it works with target forward advance. So you need to use like pressing forward, pressing forward, advance forward, some pressing forward. Pressing forward is the only one I could think of. Like move into channels. Advance forward, the attacks will also be the same, like very early. So the only role I could think of safely for this was pressing forward attack. But the rest of the roles, advance forward runs off too fast. I was going for this, move into channels. This is what I wanted. And close down more, tackle harder. So that the guy channel is these spaces here. So they will go left and right. Target forward comes down. Right. So that's why it didn't really work with this tactic. So target forwards don't work. You need to play pressing forwards here. All right, let's take a look at what we got today. One more tactic here. Cosmin Parso 4-2-3-1. Okay. Okay. 4-2-3-1. What we got? Volante charging up, take more resource. This is very aggressive. NFB. I will play inverted fullback on defense, not NFB. I'll play an inverted fullback on defense because he'll come here into this zone, right? Or I'll play a libero on defense and then play this guy as a inverted fullback on defense. So you get a 3-man back line. So that when this Volante goes out, forms of 4, you got another player here. So you got a 3 to build up. Because right now what's going to happen is when he goes up, you might have a 3-man, but it's really there is nobody else supporting the DLP. And because this guy is running forward, this guy is running forward, this guy is running forward. So you got a gap, a huge gap here that the AI is going to exploit. And this guy is too far back for him to support play. So I would definitely not play with I a no-nonsense fullback. I want to get somebody up. So what we're going to do is we're going to play this tactic at the start. Right? And then we shall see. Right? Ogusan, I think this is your tactic. Alright, so let's quick pick and play. Yeah, I just quick pick. Seriously, if a tactic can't work with quick pick, it definitely can't work. Okay? Alright? It helps small little get the player in. You might get a bit more performance out of your tactic by hand picking your players. But if you wanted to really know if your tactic, if you can't work with hand quick pick, sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Hand picking your tactic is just gonna make it better. It's not gonna work. I'm pretty certain this tactic has got one bigger drawback. This section of the pitch, right where we lost the ball. We all lost the ball on which side of the pitch? Right side, right? That's where the Volante is operating with. Right, so as we go up, you can see the NFB is quite deep, right? This is a defender where the Kamara is shifted to see this is where Volante is. This is where what has happened. He has had to move to the left. This opens up all kinds of gaps in your tactic. You lose the ball, that's it. Good luck, satellite. Right? So we lose the ball and then they're able to run through. God, no. Yeah. The NFB is the reason why you lost this. So my advice is, for a tactic like this, you want to go charging out the pitch with all these three guys also running away. All of them are running. Their priority is to get forward, right? So you really need to get this guy high up the pitch. So either you play a fullback, or you play this guy as an inverted fullback, and you get this guy to come up the pitch. That means this guy is definitely going to have to come up, because there has to be somebody there to help with the build out of the ball. And at the moment, you don't have anyone. And this is causing all kinds of mayhem down this side of the pitch for you. Right? Sorry, this side of the pitch for you. So you're getting all kinds of... Matisak is going to have a terrible game. The volunteer looks happy at 6.8 because all he's focusing on is, hey, hi, how are you? I'm attacking. Don't worry about defending. And now we just lost a player. Okay. I know what you're trying to do in this tactic is you want to try and create like an overload on one side, and then you can create goal scoring options, but that's not what you're doing. Your overload is not going to work because too many of your players are attacking, waiting for the attacking ball, but nobody has got a chance to build the ball there. Right? So they're all defending now. So it's like you have all these attack duties who are defending. They're all running back to defense, so they aren't in position for you to do anything. So what we're going to do next is we're going to come in and we're going to give this group a chance, right, to have the ball. Okay. I mean, that ball had gone in would make our job a lot easier. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come in here. We're going to do an overload here on the left. Okay. What we're doing now is an overload on the left-hand side of the pitch. We're going to drop this guy to a volante on support. Now we got DLP on defense. This guy's going to become inverted fullback on defense. So he comes out. We can let this guy go up. It's okay. So I got a 3-man defense. Maybe you want a 3-man defense, right? So this guy's not going to go up the pitch. DLP on defense, no real difference. Defend, hold. Okay. So now we got pass into place, low cross. Only do this when you have control of the game. If you can control the game. If you can't control the game, don't bother. Meaning, how do you know you're controlling the game? You're going all the way to the byline. Have you seen us go to the byline once? No, take off here. Take off it. It's that easy. Okay? If you're not going to the byline, you have no right playing low crosses. When you are consistently going to the byline, then you play low crosses. And that's the fundamental way to use it. Okay, we got several options, right? I can do a libero. I might as well just stick in a libero for the good. And Volante is going to go up because you told him to do all the great things like forget the rest of his teammates. So we got this libero coming up. Now I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll just turn this into a 3-man backline. Okay. All right, let's go and see what happens. Okay, so now what we're looking for is the build-up time. Okay, there are several things here, right? 1, 2, 3. This is a 3-man backline against a 2-man midfield. Who do you think is going to win? This group is going to beat this group because this guy's not attack duty is too high up the pitch. So when I see this, I go immediately, okay, I got 1, 2, 3 now versus, I'm going to have an extra player here now. All right. My Ramsey better do his job. That's about it now. Okay, so we got an extra player now in this zone when we didn't have one before. Because now they can't really pressure, or build out as much. So the highlights now switch to attacking on the other side. Interesting. We committed a freaking, give a penalty. But my recommendation would be to look at the tactic. Okay, I will change this to this is pressing forward and attack. Okay, because we want to do like an overload, right? You got playing Ramdaughter. Ramdaughters all, they don't like advanced forwards because advanced forwards want to be the superstar of the tactic. Why is everything take more risks? Just roam from position, move between channels. Take more risks shouldn't be something that you apply to a tactic and hoping that your players are going to try funky things to score goals. No. Take more risks is very dangerous. Take more risks it changes. Oh my goodness! Don't take more risks. Take more risks affects movement and decision making as well. Just doesn't mean passing. You want more through balls. It's not. More through balls does not come from take more risks. It comes from what I'm just about to do. I went very narrow, right? That tells my players, hey, look at the center. We want to play through balls from the center. Take more risks isn't something that you apply willy-nilly. We got to play Callum Chambers here. Douglas Luiz, we got no Yuri Tillemans. That's about it. Now. That's the only players we can play there. We got a corner finally. But I would definitely be looking at changing the tactics slightly. DLP, Volante coming out. This guy holding. So what they've done right now is they've done like an overload on the left side for these two guys to come and score goals. If you don't play Ramdauti, you can play inside forward now. So inverter fullback comes up. This guy comes out support play. Volante comes up. He shoves this guy. This guy goes to the center. This guy comes to the left. This is when this role becomes AP becomes a really good role. Because as the Volante goes out, AP comes in, then you create a whole area here where there are players that keep hanging on to the ball, trying to do deep diagonals into this area where you got these two players trying to score goals. Because as you build up play, right? So you got this DLP, AP is going to move here, Volante is going to come there. So you've got a DLP who can play the pass, and you've got AP who's high up the pitch who can play the pass. So you got the threat creators, two of them to try and find two guys who are coming in on the other side of the pitch. So I would change the tactic a lot more. Yeah. But the initial one won't work. It's too risky. And yeah, I think there's a pun there somewhere. Yeah, it's my tactic. That's how I want a NFB looks to cover better the gap. Yeah, the NFB is not very good. It's one of the worst roles here in this setup because this is too far forward. When it pushes up like this, it creates too many gaps in your tactic. So as they go up, they got the single worst instruction to use in the game, right? Very aggressively is actually take more risk. I wouldn't apply that to a lot of the players. Like, you don't need to take more risk. Take more risk affects movement and decision making. Take more risk affects a lot of things. So I wouldn't do this. Yeah. Because if you want to get through balls through the middle, this is the way to do it. That's it. You get a lot of through balls through the middle. Yeah. And then one of the reasons why a lot of the attacks will be too premature, if you're playing passing, right? Okay. Like here, if I wanted to, I'll probably go direct with this guy. Go direct passing with this guy. Or guide direct passing with this guy. And I don't need more risk. I'll just tell him to play more direct passes because the passes will be longer. So I don't have, since these are AFs and Ramdauters, then after that you can just launch the ball into the final third. That's one way of doing it. Yeah. So it's gonna be slightly different. The approach has to be different. But if you want to get these two guys scoring, your best friend is going to be this. Because you'll draw players to the left side, creating space on the right. I find that the best way to make the Ramdauter work right now, Football Manager, is by using focus play. Focus play is just there waiting to be abused on Football Manager. It is very good at abusing. What is the word for it? Basically abuses. He's very abusive. Can't even think of anything else to say about it. It's just abusive. One of the more abusive things in the game. Oh, we got a lot of tactics today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Taskmaster. Look at all these tactics now. Download. One tactic to rule them all. Love it when you guys cover this. Wasn't that the name of my training sessions at one point? One training session to rule them all. Okay, extract all. Browse, select folder, extract. I think that's it. Okay, let's look to the tactics. We can pick one or two to play. Okay, load. Okay, Tiki Taka, Chinese Wonton. I don't randomly pick. Okay, but we'll look at the tactics first. Tiki Taka. 4-1. Okay, this tactic, right? Don't play complete forward. I know because I made this tactic. Okay, this tactic, the best role is poacher. Because you got so many players coming to attack the zone, right? You don't want this guy roaming. You want this guy holding the area because all these guys become goal scorers. Okay. Inverted wingback is okay, but the problem is you got too much defending to do. This tactic, you want to use inverted fullbacks. Trust me, I made the ultimate version of this tactic. Okay. But the problem right now for you is because you use inverted wingbacks, they come into this. The problem with this tactic is when you have inverted wingbacks, they come in here, they form a 4, right? But you always When you lose the ball, there's a lot of chaos in the center because this box-to-box midfielder goes up. Now, what I would do is I drop this guy all the way here and play him as a roaming playmaker. Now, when you play as a roaming playmaker, he will go up the pitch like that. All right, you go up the pitch like that, and you split this whole group. So you can then think about, okay, I want to do inverted fullback, inverted wingback. Now, inverted wingback will come in here, roaming playmaker comes in here, roaming playmaker. He keeps going up and down. So, and then what you can do, because using inverted wingback here, my recommendation is to use a winger on this side. Gives you the width, right? So you're pulling the team to one side of the pitch. Right? So you got width on this side. So as it comes in here, you can use a roaming playmaker, you can use a DLP. But then you got a lot of options with this tactic. You can get this guy to come up as a libero and he becomes a 3-2. You can play two inverted wingbacks, or you can play one inverted wingback. You can even play fullback and a three-man midfield. But then this role becomes a DLP. But if you play a box-to-box midfielder, he comes up, and then you lose the man who's going to try and win the third ball. Yeah, if you have a very good team, say it loudly, the NFB can play those kind of balls to the Ramlauter, but my issue is this with tactics. If I make a tactic where I'm looking for a particular pattern, right? I'm more interested in patterns of play than the pass to the guy to go and score goals or create assists. I'm not looking for that. Most of the time when I'm making a tactic, it's about how these roles can link so I can get the ball to the final third. That's all. Now, the more routes you create that give you options, the better XG you're going to drive in your tactic. So the goal has to be, I want to create like 2 to 3 XG per tactic. So in order to do that, I have to keep the ball. So if I'm relying on one deep ball from the back to the front, it becomes challenging. So that's one of the reasons why I tend to veer away from take more risks as an PI. I know I did it before. I used to write guides about take more risk being fantastic. And if anybody has watched my older videos, you notice how much of a fan I was of take more risks. Probably take more risks is, ever since SI came out and told us that take more risks affects more than passing, I become very wary of using it, because I also noticed that when I use take more risks, like on a lot of players, tactics suddenly starts behaving a bit strangely. So on the NFB, I agree. It is actually the best thing to do. Taking more risks on the NFB is very nice, because then you have an NFB that's very deep, is quarterbacking a lot of passes, but you need the right player for that. You just can't give it to any player. And he needs to be able to play those kind of passes. So basically, you want Trent Alexander-Arnold never running forward. But you can get there with a lot of other roles, like even the inverted fullback on defense can do that. But the beauty about the inverted fullback is, the reason why I like it is because he goes all the way up. Yeah. So it depends on when you have overlaps and underlaps. So you can also do this. I mean, this is like in IFB, ball playing defender, inverted wingback. Yeah, being AV. Yeah, no. For me, any tactic that doesn't give me 2.7, 2.4 XG with maybe less than 10 shots. So I need 3. For me, a tactic goes out the window if I don't create at least 2 clear-cut chances again. Yeah, so it's very, very doable on FM24. It is very doable. It is very, very doable. But it's all up to different people. I mean, different people have different things, right? You might like different kinds of styles. So who am I to judge, right? If you like that, yeah, that's great. I'm just offering suggestions. That's what the whole show is all about. It's not about, no, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. If you like it, I'm glad it worked for you. Okay, this can work. I mean, but the only danger I see in your tactics is box to box. So all you do is you drop him, and then you can experiment with all these roles. Right? So then you can get a very nice tiki-taka. And you don't need this. You can play counter, but be careful. Certain things in your tactic that are going to give you problems. Much higher defensive line is a big one. The moment these guys go too high up the pitch, you lose the ball. So you can play a higher defensive line. 2, you don't need to play aggressively, trigger press. You can drop it down to here. All right. What you do is you come into these guys, tell them all to tackle harder. That's it. You've done it. You don't need to, because what happens if these guys are too high up the pitch, then the gaps open up. In fact, I think my tactic has got something like this, because these guys hardly ever go up. They just help me patrol the back. So all these guys do is they put pressure on the opposition, force them into losing the ball, and then I go and score goals. That's all you need to do. You already got the place in the right places. Yeah, you don't. It is. I wouldn't even call this tactic tiki taka. No, I use most of the Italians in one tactic. I'll say one thing about back five systems. They cannot be played on lower defensive lines. You can't. You can't play a back five. The problem is everybody has got this passion to play Italian tactics from 10 years ago and try and connect a Catenaccio back three. It cannot work on Football Manager. So unless you play it like this, which becomes a really boring tactic. You go Volante, this guy can't be a... You can't... The problem is Enganche needs play. See, the thing is, I don't understand why people have got this hang up about using the Enganche. Enganche was a role, okay, that was specifically for Juan Roman Riquelme. All right, the wonderful playmaker, okay, from Argentina. Okay, Juan Roman Riquelme was well known for being a player you couldn't rely on to come back, run left, run right. Okay. Juan Roman Riquelme needed players to run off him so that he could play the pass. So literally people had to give him the ball, come up the pitch, give him the ball so that he could play these beautiful killer passes. Which is one of the reasons why I think if you go to Boca Juniors love Juan Roman Riquelme. In fact, I think he's the president of the FA right now. Okay. So president of the football club. So if you want to play Enganche, who's coming up? Just one row. So you only got to get this volante going up, right? And this advanced forward, no. You want to play like a pressing forward or complete. We want to play complete forward. Now what do you have? Is guy that's going to drop here and a guy who's coming up here. So this Enganche now works. Yeah. So don't play advanced forward because then it's just hoof the ball. So now you got complete forward, maybe advanced forward like that. Okay, one dropping, one going this way, one running this way. Enganche might have more options. Wing backs on defense. You wanted Catenaccio, right? Catenaccio, I give you. Low block is everybody. No. There's no such thing as low block for a back five. Why? Because these guys are going to be so deep. You want to play something like this, a mid block. Okay, so that your these three will come some. Okay, I tell you what. You want to play. Okay, I'll play low block. Low defensive line just means your backline doesn't really support the attack. Yeah, that's all it does. So I push it up slightly. Standard defensive line. Get stuck in. Trap inside. Trap inside. Wherever your trap is. Okay, all right. So you want to do trap inside if you do it like this. But make sure these guys have got passing. Aggression in midfield. So I got wing back. Now this wing back. How to do this? Wing back support. Can I get him to hold position? I don't think so. Take more risks. Sit narrower. Cross from deep. Tackle harder. I can't get him to hold position because he's only a wing back support. No defense. Okay, can he? Okay, sit narrow, tackle harder. But that's about it now. Hold position. Okay. Again. Sit narrower. Hold position. Cross from deep. Okay, done. Okay, so you got. So I get these guys though. Just you want Catenaccio. I'm giving you Catenaccio. Okay. This is all it is. Though. It's just sit back and just hoof the ball. I see whether it works or not. It's hardly ever gonna work. I'm telling you right now, Catenaccio doesn't really work on Football Manager, but you basically just drawing the team in, right? So we're gonna play this one time with this tactic and see whether it works or not. We just don't know if it's gonna work. We're just depending on these 1-2 fellas out the pitch. Okay, tactic. And the tempo is going to be super high. Time wasting is all the way. Catenaccio, we're not doing anything else. Pass into space. We're going to do fairly wide. Shoot on side. Be more disciplined. Play for set pieces. Catenaccio. We're not playing anything else, right? Distribute over the opposition defenses, distribute quickly, low block, Catenaccio. Okay, Yeah, but automatic, they change the mentality. So the positioning will be affected. Yeah. So I got whole position with sit narrow, tackle harder, take furious cross on deep. So it's what I wanted with this guy. Okay, Kamara. I don't know if it's gonna work. Let's find out. It's like quite cool. Okay, so we got Cash. Okay, hoofing the ball. We got Diaby, Zaniolo, and Ramsey. Ramsey? The hell is Ramsey doing in the center? Okay, we got McGinn. Ask him to be the. Ask him. Yeah. So you gotta try. This is the ultimate in. Okay, we're not gonna play attacking. We're gonna play cautious. Catenaccio. Yeah. We are playing Catenaccio. And then we got passing directness is also direct. Okay. All right. Regista, more direct passes. Volante, more direct. Again, no move into channels. Volante taking fewer risks. Okay. I don't want him moving too much. Okay. Okay. NCB, Libero. Okay. Goalkeeper. Okay. Goalkeeper. All right. Let's go. The goal of this tactic is not to move. Okay, be the immovable tactic, which means that we come inside here, trigger press much less often. Okay. We're all sick and tired of getting bad results. No, we are playing Catenaccio. He wants to play Catenaccio. Catenaccio, he's not going to get much chance. He's not going to get many opportunities. So, shoot on sight. The moment you get near there, you shoot. Marco. So we are the quality of this tactic, whether it does well or not, it's just defensive. No? It's like park the bus and then hope for the best. Yeah, time wasting. It's almost suicidal, I know. But Catenaccio has time wasting in there. You go look at the time wasting. You look at Catenaccio, the preset, right? It's got time wasting there. So we're following the preset to some extent. So we're going to defend, and then when we get a chance to play for set pieces and waste time. Okay, there we go. Another one, shoot on side. There was no time for us to try to build play up. Moreno, again. Everybody's going to do this. Like Frank Lampard has taken over this team. Because Frank Lampard very famously wanted his team, right? I think he was managing, was he Spurs at one point, right? And he wanted everybody to take long shots. So we become very Frank Lampard as well. So I don't expect us to have high possession. They are defending really well. Because in a Catenaccio system, it goes from back to front very quickly. Right? Doesn't waste any time. But in Football Manager, the preset actually has it like this. Okay? The only thing I don't like are the preset in Football Manager, it does this. Tempo lower. That's what I don't like. Meaning it gives you see, the changes are going to be very apparent when you play lower because it means that the team is taking its own sweet time to pass the ball. So the problem was in the game itself, you see, when lower means all these guys are going to come up. In the old days, Catenaccio, right, they defend deep, right, and then the attack is just a few fellas, like 2 or 3 fellas going up. That's why I kind of disagree with SI when they did that. So I put slightly higher. So I got more discipline, dribble less, play for that, shoot on side. Right, you can remove this, but we just wanted everybody to crack a jacker, like Frank Lampard. But like I said, Catenaccio is about defending, right? So what I'm saying is Catenaccio doesn't work anymore. Like people are in love with this, and plus you're using Enganche, yeah? Using all these roles I don't recommend in a Catenaccio system. Catenaccio should never use the Enganche. Trequartista, I'll say yes. No way Enganche. Enganche was used in a 4-3-1-2. You're telling me Catenaccio has got 4-3-1-2. That's when people get too romantic about the roles and they go like, you know what, I want to use all the Italian roles. Enganche wasn't even an Italian role. Enganche was a South American role. Okay. So if you want to use Catenaccio, you got to use sweeper, libero. Those are all South America, Italian roles. Right. So Trequartista. As well, Enganche no way. Enganche will never work in a Catenaccio tactic. Lucky enough to mirror 3 at the back formation. Exactly. We were very lucky to have a back 3 against us. But it's I still don't think it will work. This is the closest. I'm not pretending that the Catenaccio is going to work. No, I'm just saying I would never bother. I know that I have friends of mine I've got friends who wanted to use Catenaccio as well. They all like tried and kept coming to my stream, and some of them are former SI employees. Okay. All also trying to get Catenaccio. If the SI employees themselves can get Catenaccio too, what makes you think it's going to work the game? No, I've always liked the Trequartista. It's not that I don't like the Trequartista. I always love the Trequartista. It's just that Trequartista, they've got what's the word for it? They have a place in tactical systems. So like this setup where if I were to do a Catenaccio, I also have 3-man attack. But this way, the Trequartista is actually kind of a funky role up top because he's going to drop deep. He's got a lot. Since we're not defending with anyone else, got all these 5 fellas already defending. We might ask him to do a bit more. And I was either AP or that. But it's not too bad, no? We are we actually only consider 1 goal. Considering all the possession the opposition had. Yeah, don't play Enganche. I would play a what's that role again? Trequartista. Not doing too badly, I'm kind of impressed. Okay, let's go attacking. Yeah, we're doing okay, Surprise. No need to. I mean, right defense is only going to be the 3 of them, right? Okay, so who else we got? Clement, Courtney Howe, Jack Currency, okay, Luca Dean. The rest all useless. Why the Inter can be more attacking than me when we use the same ball? It's because they have the different team instructions. It's got nothing to do with the formation, Bagaskara. It doesn't matter what formation they're using. Catenaccio isn't the roles. It is the team instructions. Our team instructions are different. Our team instructions is sit back, give you the ball, you try and score goals. That's Catenaccio. Inter Milan are playing an attacking 5-2-1-2. They're playing a positive view, stay cautious, sit back. You think this is a defensive tactic? These wingbacks are probably on attack. This Volante is probably on support. This AM is on support. DLF and AF. What at centre back? Ball playing defender. This is definitely not a sit back, I'm do nothing tactic. Yeah, so that's why you can see that the wingbacks are in position half the time. They're so high up the pitch. Our tactic is always a back 5. You see what? Look at where their wingback is. Look at where the wingback is. So, when you want to create a tactic, Catenaccio is probably the worst tactic to ever try and make manager. Right? It's never gonna work. Yeah, unless you get lucky. Unless you get damn lucky. And then it will never be true Catenaccio. It will be some hybrid that somebody is calling Catenaccio because, hey, this is a Catenaccio tactic because it's got these rules. Bullshit. Catenaccio was a style of play. Sit back, soak, make life progressively annoying for the opposition because every time they want to score a goal, we just put a wall there. That was Catenaccio. It was anti-football at its climax. Everybody hated Catenaccio because the deeper the thing is, as the more the opposition attack, the deeper that formation would go. They had a sweeper, so it was like very, very annoying tactic. Yeah, we pushed up higher with the wing back, but then again, yeah, that's it. Nothing, because the wing backs are not going forward, right? The moment these wing backs participate, it's going to stop being Catenaccio. Yeah. Because Catenaccio and Football Manager is your instructions, your style of play, your team instructions create your style of play. It's not your roles and duties. Roles and duties affect the positioning the players are going to take in your tactic and how they are going to combine with the rest of the team. Yep, that's it. Catenaccio, I'm glad it. If I had scored 1, you probably go in and play the tactic, and then after that go like, hey, how come my Catenaccio doesn't work anymore? Well, it's not going to work now. So have you ever seen an AI tactic come out? They're playing Catenaccio and they win the league title with Catenaccio. If that ever happens, sign me up, man. Okay. All right. So, yes, we have officially buried the Catenaccio. But I would suggest working on something else. Catenaccio, no. Why did you make something more like, yeah, all a Gigan press AI? Catenaccio is like, okay, it's like you built your first house with wood, no? With wood, no? And now everybody is using, how do you, this like, okay, basically it's like the three sheep, the three pigs and the wolf. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. The guy who's got the piggy who made the house out of stone. You're the piggy who made the house out of straw. Because a long time ago, people are living in straw huts, all felt safe. Now everybody living in stone houses. You still want the straw house to give you the same level of security as a stone house? It ain't gonna work, man. It ain't gonna work. So my suggestion, don't go there. Back 3-5 channel attack. Very nice. Chinese wonton. Let me look at your tactic. Point back, wing back, volante, DM, libero. Nice. This works. Here, you change this to AP and support. Okay, do a focus play down the left only. Then you get a very powerful left side attack. Okay, because then what will happen is these three become your principal goal scoring players. Now, in some matches, you might find that they are using a volante on one side of the pitch, right? Then you change. You swap this DM volante, then you put Shadow Striker AP here. Okay, then you flip it the other way. Whichever side the volante is playing is where you're attacking. Yeah, so that's all you got to do with this tactic. This is actually a very good 5 channel attack. We've done this on the stream. Yeah, we've done this. Almost exactly the same setup. This can be a poacher, it can be a pressing forward, it can be an advanced forward. Advanced forward, your attacks are going to be very fast. You play pressing forward, poacher is beautiful. Poacher is pressing and pressing forward are the best roles for this kind of setup. Because then the Shadow Striker gets a lot of love and he actually goes channel hunting, which creates space for the Shadow Striker. Very nice tactic. But this gives you the option of doing overloads on the left side of the pitch. With the Volante is operating with the AP. AP is going to drop. Volante is going to come. So this guy becomes a deep diagonal crosser. No, you're going to cross from this side of the pitch. Very nice. Very nice tactic. It's going to work very well. One tactic to rule out on Jagat Taylor. Wow. There's a lot of stuff. Again, similar concept to the other, except we got a lot of this. I don't know what that means. Okay. I can't do much here. Like, okay, shorter passing over into box. Overlap, no. Tactics like this, I wouldn't use overlaps. Okay, better off using underlaps. Because overlaps, you see more crossing. Underlaps are way better for this tactic. AP and attack, complete for. Why are these two guys roaming? If you do this, right, you better have work ball into box. Yeah, because you see, the problem with this tactic is now you got this guy roaming, this guy looking to create chances, but nobody else is there until these guys come forward. So, this tactic compared to the other tactic is a bit different. Here, you got to keep the ball. So I wouldn't make too many changes out of this tactic, but what you will definitely have to do with this tactic, okay, now maybe I will just do an overlap on one side of the pitch, on the right. Okay, we do an overlap on the right side and do the underlap on the left. Very easy to change the tactic around. Because the underlap these are the creative forces and this guy is attacking. Then the overlap is looking to drive crosses into the area. Good work. The lap, widest player holding up inside runs. The volante is coming to say AM is coming to say is wide. Okay, yeah, the volante is the missing link in this tactic. So the overlap on the right still doesn't make a difference. Widest player, this tactic doesn't really need an overlap. This guy is just going to be aggressive. Yeah, you don't need, because the overlap is going to happen all the time. If you want to do anything, it's an underlap. So the widest player holds up the ball looking for inside runs. See, that's what an underlap is. The widest player goes, hey, who's running the inside? I'm going to give you the ball. You go and attack the box. Here, the overlaps are happening naturally. It's not like struggling to think how to make the overlap. But no point. You just play an underlap on the widest. Here, the AP is going to be the one doing the underlapping, and then he's not doing the underlapping. What AP is doing is looking for inside runs. So he's going to find a few. So I would just put the underlap. And then here, this tactic, better off with work point to box. And this is a, just go mix. Don't play slightly shorter, hoping that you do one-touch passing. I don't bother with that. And then let's hope there's no PIs here. Again, another one, take more risk. Now, this is like a super volante if he's going to go up, right? This means this guy better be on defense duty. I wouldn't get this guy to take more risk and then you leave yourself open. Because he's going to go. He's going to be waiting up here to do stuff. Like, take more risk, get a room from position, move into channels. I mean, like, channels is left, right, no? Yeah, move it. Yeah, you don't have all of them moving into channels. Like, just leave this guy alone. Okay, so this role can actually be a shadow striker. I'll probably play him as a shadow striker. And this guy more like an AP on support or AP on this thing. And this guy can be like a DM. I mean, it makes your tactic a bit more cleaner. And then it becomes really a tactic that's going to put a lot of pressure on teams. Yeah. I know, but you want to make it so that you can control the final third. You can do it like this, but don't put overlaps. Yeah, something like this can work. Because you're going to have like an underlap on one side and an overlap. You can do like an underlap on this side. All these guys are all weak. Any attack duty is going to go up. They're all going to go up because of space. So don't worry about this. All these tactics will go up. Don't worry about using overlaps. Overlaps are just, this tactic, keep it simple. You'll be fine. Taskmaster from Sean. Oh, lovely. It's a boxer. Hey, it's a Mazala-based tactic. Mazala on attack, winger. What a pity. What a pity, though. The wingback should be here. This guy should be the inverted fullback. Okay. Why? Because you got all this guy coming to our space. The winger is coming. This guy will go around them. Box to box coming up. DRP is coming up. Then you got this three-man defense. Yeah, these guys are going to be a three-man defense. Inverted winger, why anybody wants to play inverted winger is beyond me, but okay, I'll just leave it here. Okay. Because this guy is going to dribble more cuts out of ball, get further forward. He's going to try and get into these positions. Now you got no risks with this guy. Box to box and inverted winger are probably going to clash in the same area, which is the reason why you looked at wing back. Alright, if you don't need to, you can play a winger here now. Now, more shuttle passing, there's no such thing as tiki-taka, okay, or one-touch passing in football. Yeah, if you use an inverted wing back, then the problem with the inverted wing back here is, if you play an inverted wing back here, this guy is also on the same channel. That makes your entire right flank exposed. So I would start with inverted fullback first, instead of going inverted wing back, which could be a bit risky. So inverted winger here is okay. Yeah, box to box is going to come up. Mazar is coming up. Winger. I like the idea of it. This guy can even be a fullback on attack. This is a very funky setup. Because as the fullback goes around, he can go in or he can go out. The Mazala is in the half space here. The winger is just here. The fullback is coming out to support. He can go around the left side. And you don't even need focus play down the right now. Because now you got focus play down the left. Everything is happening. All the action is happening on the left. And all these guys, these two and him, become goal scoring threats. So this is what you can do with this tactic. It's like kind of like creating the overload on one side to create goal scoring options on the other. That's how focus play actually works like that. Yeah, because you gotta remember, right? In Football Manager, focus play moves central midfielders closer to the side of the focus. So if your focus is on the left, that's where your central midfielders are moving. Now, when they move there, more of them on that side of the pitch. So if more of them on their side of the pitch and you can keep the ball there, which is the reason why you don't have too many attack duties with a focus play, what's going to happen is you draw the opposition to that side of the pitch, which puts a premium on your quality of your players at your disposal. You need players there who can keep the ball, use the ball, right? And then on the other side of the pitch, you got players that are going to attack with the ball. So you're going to have wingers on attack, inside forwards on attack, ground doubters, inside forwards. This is the beauty of focus play. And you can make a balanced focus play with both left and right, which I do all the time with my 4-2-4s. But it can be a lot of fun. But try it out, because this tactic, I can do it like this, right? This tactic, oh, that's it. I might just point because the camera is pointing right? Yeah, this tactic is not bad. It's quite fun. I love it. This tactic, yeah, I can actually do that. I'm such an idiot. I don't even know my mirrors. Yeah, it can work. It can work. Right. So I would definitely be looking at that, man. Yeah, it's a good tactic. It's not bad. I like it. I think 4-1-4-1 is a standout tactics in Football Manager. Along with 4-4-2s, 4-1-4-1s. The 4-4-2 white diamond is also very, very strong. Very underrated tactics, but they work very, very well in creating very high XG chances. And they're very hard to break down. They're the better choice than the 4-3-3. I never liked the 4. I mean, Gambit was the very first tactic I made on FM24. Have you noticed I never played with Gambit after that? Because I was not satisfied with the XG. I was like after 3 XG per game. And I couldn't get it with 4-3-3 systems unless I had a super power team. And then that was when I stopped playing with those tactics. Because they were so boring. They were so boring. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed today's show. This was a diagnosis. It was a chance to play with your tactics, give you some feedback. Tomorrow we'll be back with more on our little journey in Hungary. Yeah, we're now in the Europa Cup. We did well, man. We went to Sevilla. Nobody expected us to win against Sevilla. Yes, and we did that in the Europa Cup. We went to Sevilla and they were saying, you boys, you're not good enough for this competition. You're bus boys. We have played in the finals a couple of times. You're the best team here. The only teams that can take us on are the English champions. You are useless. Walk the dogs. No house. Idiots. What did we do? We shut them up at home. And one of our kids got the opening goal. And tomorrow, the adventure continues. So I want to see you tomorrow on this channel. Same time. You guys stay safe. Take care of yourselves. I love you. Please be good to your neighbors. Be good to yourself. Never ever forget to take care of yourself.